Have you ever felt like you were born with something heavy on your back, but never knew exactly what? As if there was an invisible force pulling you inside, making you feel more, suffer more, see what others pretend not to see? Maybe this isn't just sensitivity. Maybe it's a pact, an ancient spiritual agreement, sealed long before his birth, and which condemned Scorpio to carry an energy that few have the courage to face. What I'm going to reveal now is not just astrology. It is a hidden truth, confirmed by spiritual sources such as Cayce, the prophet of the unseen, who believed that certain signs came into the world with deep marks, sacred wounds, and a forbidden mission. Scorpio is not just intensity. Scorpio is portal. It's a spiritual scar. It's inherited shadow. And this shadow has a name: forbidden energy. According to ancient astral records, Scorpio natives were chosen to guard and transmute dense forces. They are the guardians of silence, those who feel before, those who die and are reborn more than once. But this gift, or curse, comes at a cost. A silent spiritual pact that demands sacrifice, solitude, and trials that no one sees, but that mark the soul like fire. If you are a Scorpio, or feel like you carry something that no one understands, this video was made for you. And if you've made it this far, maybe you're ready to face what the universe has entrusted to you, because what comes next is the turning point, the revelation that many avoid hearing. But before continuing, comment below: I carry this energy. Only those who feel it will understand. Comment now: I carry this energy. If something inside you has already recognized this call before you even hear my next word, because this video is not entertainment, it is a mirror. And anyone who feels the Scorpio vibration knows this message reached here for a reason. There is something about you that needs to be remembered, an ancestral code that can only be activated when you accept your deepest essence, the one that the world tried to erase but that never stopped pulsing inside. Understanding this content is more than curiosity. It is spiritual survival. It's knowing why you feel so much, suffer in silence, notice things before others, and still feel out of place. Because Scorpio didn't come to fit, came to transform. But you can't carry out this mission alone. So leave a like now. This helps this video reach other people who also carry this energy, without knowing it. And subscribe to the channel. Here, each video is a key. Each revelation is part of the puzzle that will remind you of your true purpose. And please comment on your experience. What do you feel when you hear words like spiritual mission? Have you ever had dreams that felt like warnings? Signs that you couldn't explain? Your story could be the sign someone else has been waiting for. Here, commenting is not just engagement, it's testimony, it's ritual. Because Scorpio has never been about going with the flow. It's always been about diving into depths where no one else has the courage to go. And that's where the real revelation begins. If you are a Scorpio, or have someone you care deeply about who was born under this sign, I ask you one thing: don't leave this video. Stay until the end. What I am going to reveal to you now will change your worldview. It will show you that much of what you experienced. The pain, the silences, the ruptures, the new beginnings were not random. There is a silent ancestral pact, signed long before your birth, a spiritual agreement that the angels and the heavens sealed with Scorpio millennia ago. And this agreement was not made with words. He was sealed with energy, with pain, with intensity, and with destiny. Few people understand what it really means to be born under this vibration. Most people think Scorpio is all about emotional intensity, jealousy, sensuality. But these are just human expressions of a much older force. Scorpio is not human, it is archetypal. He is born with an energetic password that connects him directly to the deepest layers of the collective unconscious. Scorpio feels what others hide, sees what is beyond the veil, and he pays a price for it. As a child, you who are Scorpio may have felt this difference. You may have had that feeling of not belonging anywhere, to be the only one to understand the truth behind the smiles, the only one to feel when something was about to fall apart, the only one to sense betrayals, losses, changes, but also the only one who remained silent, observing, carrying everything within himself, because he intuitively knew that no one would understand. And in fact, few can. This happens because Scorpio was chosen to work with what is invisible, with what is between the lines, with what most people avoid facing. The forbidden energy that this sign carries is like a spiritual fire. It can heal or it can burn, can transmute pain into strength or it can devour anyone who tries to control it without preparation. And this is why Cayce, known as the sleeping prophet, believed that Scorpios were born with a heavy spiritual responsibility. They are not here by chance. They were sent. You may have never heard of it, but your body already knows. Your soul already knows. How many times have you experienced situations that seem to have no explanation? How many times have you had strange dreams that seemed like messages from another dimension? How many times did you realize you were being tested even without doing anything? This is not bad luck, it's not karma. It is part of the spiritual refinement process that accompanies those who carry this energy. And yes, it can be a burden, because with it comes isolation. Scorpio often needs to move away to understand what they feel, and in that distance, he finds his gifts. But he also faces his shadows. It is in this silence that the Scorpio soul learns that there is no true light without. First diving into darkness. The pact that Scorpio carries requires silence, resilience, and above all, transformation. Scorpio is symbolic death and rebirth, its fall and rise. It is the soul that needs to lose everything to remember what it is really made of. Many of you who are watching me now may have already experienced this more than once. Relationships that felt like soul-breaking, losses that took away pieces, cycles that ended abruptly, as if life had pulled you into a change that you didn't choose. And do you know why this often happens to Scorpios? Because this sign did not come to live an ordinary life. He came to undergo initiations. Every pain, every crisis, every separation is a kind of ritual. It's as if the universe is sculpting you, removing the excess, breaking the shell so that only the true essence remains. And when that happens, when you finally accept that pain as part of your process, something changes. In truth, you begin to access a strength that does not come from the mind or the body. It comes from the soul. It comes from another dimension. You begin to see the world as it really is. You sense people's intentions without them having to say anything. You predict situations. You protect yourself without realizing it. And all of this is part of the gift that this spiritual pact gave you. But be careful. This gift is activated when you choose to live your essence, when you try to fit in, when you pretend to be someone you're not, when you retreat out of fear of your own depth. You weaken. You begin to feel an emptiness, an inexplicable anguish. The signals stop arriving. Dreams become confusing, and it seems like everything goes wrong. This happens because your spirit is trying to remind you, you are not like others. You never were. You have a mission. And when you stray from it, the whole world seems to fall apart. Scorpio needs to learn to trust the invisible, accepting that your strength does not come from what is logical, but from what is intuitive. You don't need to understand everything with your mind. You feel with your body. You capture it with your soul. And that is its difference. But it is also your responsibility, because feeling so much and doing nothing about it is spiritual waste. It's ignoring a calling that can heal not only yourself but others around you. Maybe that's why you attract so many broken people, so many heavy stories, so many requests for help that no one listens anymore. Scorpio has this magnetism, this presence that says, I can handle it. And yes, you can handle it, but you don't have to carry everything alone. The truth is that you will only be able to fulfill this pact if you know when to dive and when to return to the surface. Because even though you were chosen to deal with forbidden energy, it was not meant to destroy you. It was made to strengthen you. But first, she will test you. It will test every part of you that is still afraid. It will get you out of lukewarm relationships. It will keep you away from superficial environments. It will make you lose everything that doesn't resonate with who you really are. And when that happens, remember what I'm saying here. You are not being punished. You are being polished. This is how awakened Scorpios are truly born, not from the calm, but from the storm. You are like the poison that becomes a cure, like the wound that becomes a sacred scar, like loss that becomes liberation. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, the planet of death, power, and transformation, and not by chance. This means that you carry an absurd strength of reinvention within you. While other signs break, Scorpio rebuilds. While others run away from pain, Scorpio goes through. While others pretend not to see, you see. always saw it. And that's when the deeper mystery begins to reveal itself. Because this spiritual pact that Cayce pointed out was not just a mystical theory. He talked about souls who reincarnated with a purpose, to hold the density of the world so that others could awaken. Scorpio is in these. Those who wake up early, those who feel everything, those who are reborn from their own ashes to remind the world of what is real. If up until now you've felt something stirring inside, something that seems to explain old sensations, pains that you've never been able to name, or dreams that seemed like messages, then this video is for you. You carry this energy. You are part of this calling. And now that you've started to, remember, there's no going back. Comment here, I accept my essence. If you felt that all of this was for you, right, I carry this energy. If you have already gone through trials that no one understood, but that transformed you inside, and leave it here in the comments. What was the strongest signal you've ever received? A dream? A shiver? A hunch that was confirmed? Share with us, because your story can be the echo that activates someone who is still silent. Pain is not punishment. It's code. It's a mission. And this, for Scorpio, is not just a nice phrase. It is a visceral truth that the body feels before the mind even understands. While other signs react, Scorpio absorbs. He doesn't react superficially. He internalizes everything that is said, what is felt, what is silent. It's as if Scorpios have invisible antennas connected to the emotional field of everything and everyone around them, capturing every noise, every fluctuation of energy, every intention that has not even been expressed. This type of sensitivity is not common. It comes from another layer of reality, and it's not light to carry. When Scorpio enters an environment, he is not just there. He connects with what that place carries spiritually. This happens at parties, at work, and relationships, even with strangers on the street. And for that reason, he needs breaks, isolation, silence. It's not drama. It is an energetic need. It is a spiritual system recalibrating itself. What many people call distance or coldness in Scorpio is actually a protection mechanism, because he feels too much. And when it feels too much, without space to metabolize, it implodes. So stay away to survive. And it is in this separation that he delves into his own depths, places where few dare go, where pain is not avoided, but studied, understood, and, over time, transformed into strength. Scorpio is not afraid of pain. He talks to her. He deciphers it. He understands that there are codes hidden in his wounds, that there are profound lessons in your losses, and so the universe seems to test him more often than others. But these tests are not random. They are like spiritual tests, silent rites of passage. Scorpio lives experiences that would destroy anyone, but he goes through. He may fall, but he always rebuilds himself, stronger, more aware, more connected to what really matters. But this process has a price: spiritual loneliness. Many Scorpios report feeling as if they are out of the world, as if there was a layer between them and the rest of the people, an invisible layer which isolates but also protects. And that's not crazy, it's real, because when you are born with such a high energetic frequency, so focused on the invisible, contact with superficiality becomes unbearable. Shallow conversations are uncomfortable. Soulless relationships are draining. Outright lies hurt more than they should. And then, Scorpio chooses the most difficult path, not adapting. And here is another point that few understand. Scorpio didn't come to fit in. He came to expose, question, deepen, transform. He came to break patterns, challenge internal structures, turn the tables on the soul. But in doing so, he is judged, because the world fears what it cannot control. And there is nothing more uncontrollable than the awakening Scorpio soul. Cayce said that some souls are reincarnated with spiritual contracts, and Scorpio is one of those. Carries ancestral codes of healing and destruction. Wherever it arrives, it causes changes, sometimes subtly, other times like an earthquake, but it never goes unnoticed, because your presence carries truth, and the truth is uncomfortable. Therefore, Scorpio is often excluded, betrayed, discredited, but it is also sought after, desired, admired, because those who live around it feel, even without knowing how to explain it, that there is something different there, something powerful. This powerful energy, however, is not free. She charges. It demands spiritual responsibility. Scorpio needs to learn to channel their intensity, to use their intuition wisely, to not allow anger, jealousy, or resentment to distort their gifts. Because when he disconnects from his essence, this energy begins to turn against him, and then blockages arise, emotional illnesses, breakdowns. The Scorpio soul needs constant alignment. It needs rituals, energy cleansing, of reconnection with what is sacred. And this reconnection only happens when he stops denying who he is, when he stops trying to fit into molds that don't represent him, when you truly accept that your depth is not a defect, but a gift, when you understand that your pain was not a punishment, but a path, when you honor your scars as maps that guided you back to your mission. Scorpio is not a sign for amateurs. It is a sign of spiritual initiation, of internal alchemy, of deep rebirths. And every Scorpio who awakens feels this in their skin. It's not something you learn in books. It's something you live. And once you live, you will never be the same again, because you come to understand that each tear had a purpose, that each rupture returned you to yourself, that every silence was a conversation with your own soul. Therefore, if you are here listening to me now, you have already experienced something that seemed unfair, painful, too heavy. Perhaps this is the time to give new meaning, to stop asking yourself, why me, and start asking yourself, what did this come for? This simple change of question can set you free, because when you understand that you have been spiritually trained to step through what others avoid, you change. You no longer feel like a victim, you feel like an instrument, and that is powerful. This is why Scorpio, when aligned, becomes a guide, becomes a healer, becomes a master. He begins to attract people looking for a cure, people who feel that there is something true there, and it exists. There is a soul who went through fire, survived, and chose to use this experience to light the way. But to get to that point, the process is arduous. It's intimate, it's silent, and it demands delivery. Scorpio needs to trust their own cycles. You need to know that there are times when everything will fall apart, and that is part of it. That the end is never really the end. It's just the beginning of a new version of yourself. You need to learn to observe yourself without judging yourself, understanding that the intensity you feel is a spiritual compass, that every deep emotion is a message, that every crisis is a revelation. Maybe that's why you're here now. Perhaps this message is exactly what your soul asked to hear. Maybe you are going through a difficult phase, in silence, without understanding why everything seems too heavy. And maybe, just maybe, this is happening because your essence is trying to awaken you, because you can no longer pretend to be light. You can no longer anesthetize yourself with the superficial. You need the truth, and the truth hurts, but it frees. So, listen carefully to what I am going to ask you now. If this content resonated with you, comment below. Pain is code, not punishment. And if you have already been through something that transformed you inside, also leave. I was tested, but I survived. And if you want, share with us what was the most profound moment in your life, the one you never forgot, the one that broke you, but also made you reborn. Because here, comments are not just words. These are declarations from souls who decided to recognize themselves. They are echoes of collective healing. These are spiritual seals being activated, and it's just the beginning. What many call coldness, distance, or even arrogance is actually spiritual protection. Scorpio defends himself because he learned early on that feeling too much is a double-edged weapon. And when you are a sign that captures everything, absorbs everything, carries everything, you need limits. You need to learn to close yourself off, not because of a lack of love, but because of excess sensitivity. Scorpio doesn't avoid people out of fear. He avoids it out of wisdom, because he has already suffered too much from those who approached him without truth. He has already been hurt by empty promises. He has already been used by those who mistook his depth for weakness, and that's why he protects himself. It's not coldness, it's a filter. This silent barrier that Scorpio builds around itself is an energetic shield, a way to keep your mission protected until you are ready to fulfill it consciously. And this mission is much bigger than most imagine. Scorpio did not come to be the center of attention, but it came to be the center of transformation. He is the alchemist of the zodiac, the one who moves between worlds, who dives into pain to find a cure, who gets dirty with the shadow to bring out the light that no one wants to see. What the world calls Scorpio revenge is actually karmic, justice in motion. Scorpio doesn't fight back out of ego. He fights back for balance, because he feels the breaks in the spiritual field before they even happen. He notices when something is out of alignment, when someone has crossed boundaries that should not be broken. And when you act, it's not out of impulse. It's out of energetic precision. Therefore, his sense of justice is as feared as it is necessary. He doesn't scream, he acts. And its action is often silent, but devastating, because it doesn't come from the surface. It comes from the core. Scorpio was born with a role that few could support, being the Earth's spiritual filter, be the one who deals with what no one wants to touch. He is the guard ion of unfaced shadows. What others repress, he feels. What others hide, he sees. What the collective tries to ignore, it faces head-on, because he was spiritually prepared for it. The Scorpio soul has ancient records of invisible battles, of cycles that repeat between lives, where you always come back to confront what needs to be purified. And that's why Scorpio suffers so much, because the more aware he is of his role, the more he realizes that his existence has never been ordinary. Nothing he experiences is light. Friendships are intense or non-existent. Love is transformative or destructive. Moments of peace are profound but rare. He's always going through something, always in the middle of an internal renovation, always between pain and rebirth, because this is the field where your soul works. But there is something sacred in all this. Each test that Scorpio faces activates a higher level of its mission. With each fall, he accesses more wisdom. With each breakup, he gains more clarity. With each deep silence, you connect more with what is beyond form. Because unlike other signs, he doesn't look for answers on the surface. He digs. He dismantles everything he has learned. He questions. And in the midst of chaos, he finds the essence. Not the essence that others see, but the one that can only be felt by those who have been to the bottom of their own abyss. And that abyss, for Scorpio, is not a place of fear. It's a temple. It is there that he reconnects with his truth. It is there that he finds the fragments of his mission. And it is there that he hears the voice of the invisible, that voice that the world ignores, but that speaks directly to the heart of those who were born to fulfill a greater purpose. Because for Scorpio, nothing is casual. Everything has a symbol, a sign, one sense. Every coincidence is a message. Every shiver is a warning. Every dream is a summons. Scorpio's spiritual mission is directly linked to collective transformation. He is not just here to experience his own evolution, but to influence the evolution of those who cross his path. But this isn't always pretty or comfortable. Sometimes your presence is uncomfortable. Sometimes your truth hurts. Sometimes your energy cleanses and reveals what others have hidden for years. And it all happens effortlessly, because Scorpio doesn't have to try. He is. It exists as a mirror of the soul, and not everyone is ready to see themselves reflected there. Therefore, Scorpio needs to remember every day that their intensity is not a problem. It is a tool, that your silence is not empty. It is spiritual communication, that its depth is not weight, it is bridge, and that your gift is not a burden. It is a key that, when used consciously, opens portals of healing, of resignification, of truth. But to use this key, it needs to be connected to its origin. You need to trust your instincts, your intuition, your internal signals. Scorpio senses when something isn't right, and when you ignore that feeling, you pay dearly, because your soul cannot bear to live in a lie. When you try to live like others, you get hurt. When you try to hide your intensity, you get sick. When you try to love as others love, you become frustrated, because he wasn't born for the common, born for the sacred, into the deep, for the eternal. And it is in this eternal that the Scorpio mission reveals itself in its purest form, when he understands that every loss was a release, that every pain was a call, that every ending was a beginning, and that each crisis was an initiation. Scorpio is the sign of the phoenix, the one who is reborn, but it is not reborn the same. Reborn stronger, cleaner, more aware. But this rebirth doesn't happen to everyone. Difference between an awakened Scorpio and a sleeping Scorpio is the courage to face your truth, to accept your mission, to embrace your intensity, and to use all of this to heal, not to hide. Because when this sign awakens, it is no longer a hostage to pain. He becomes master of transformation, a true channel between the visible and the invisible, between the past and the future, between the fall and the rise. And now that you've started to remember all this, because yes, this isn't something new for you, it's something that was dormant inside, I want to invite you to declare yourself spiritually here in the comments. If everything I said resonated, comment like this: I am the spiritual filter. And if you feel that this mission has always been beating within you even when no one believed, right? I was sent. And if you want, share here a situation in your life that broke you inside, but that today you understand as part of your awakening. Because on this channel, each comment is more than engagement. It's a ritual, it's a confirmation, it's a portal being opened. And it's not over yet. What comes now will show you that everything you experienced was just the beginning. Have you ever walked into a place and without anyone telling you anything felt that there was something wrong in the air? Have you ever crossed paths with someone and even with their smile on their face, something inside you screamed, "Be careful"? Have you ever felt a presence, an energetic pressure, or even a chill out of nowhere? And then, without understanding exactly why, everything made sense? If so, you've already experienced the first Scorpio spiritual signs in action, because Scorpio doesn't see with his eyes. He sees with his soul. He reads the invisible, deciphers the unspeakable, perceives what has not yet been revealed. And this is not common sensitivity. It is an ancestral gift. It is an intuition that crosses generations, that comes from other incarnations, from spiritual memories that were recorded in the energetic field of the Scorpio soul. Scorpio doesn't just feel it, it senses it. Often, before it even happens, he already knows. And he doesn't know how to explain where this knowledge comes from. He just feels it. Sometimes through a symbolic dream, a number that repeats itself, a face that appears insistently, a déjà vu that seems more real than the present itself. He may try to ignore it, rationalize it, convince himself that it was just an impression, but deep down he knows, he always knew. This sharp intuition is one of Scorpio's deepest spiritual hallmarks. It's not just a sixth sense. It's a spiritual compass. It is as if he is always in contact with something beyond matter, as if he receives messages encoded in images, sensations, or even physical pain. There are those who say that the Scorpio's body speaks before the mind understands. And it's true. Sudden headache, nausea in specific locations, unexplained insomnia, everything could be a sign that something around you is out of alignment. Scorpios don't get sick for nothing. It somatizes what it captures. It stores what others throw into the air. That's why so many Scorpios feel exhausted after encounters with certain people, especially those who vibrate at denser frequencies or are disconnected from their own essence. Sometimes, after talking to someone, Scorpios feel like they have a weight on their shoulders, that their head is confused, that their soul is burdened. This happens because it acts as an energy transmuter. He cleanses, without realizing it, the energy fields around him. But if you're not careful, he carries what's not yours. And that's where the mission becomes dangerous. The gift of intuition needs to be respected. It needs to be looked after like a spiritual jewel. Scorpio needs to learn to discern what is theirs and what belongs to the other, because the signal, when not interpreted, can turn into internal noise. How many times have you felt something strange and tried to carry on as if nothing was happening? How many times has your intuition tried to warn you, and you remained silent? And then, when everything was confirmed, did you regret not listening to your soul? Scorpio is a sign of energetic depth, and therefore its signs are subtle, but extremely powerful. A simple look can reveal a hidden truth. A silence in the middle of a conversation can speak more than 1,000 words. Annoyance in front of someone, apparently harmless, can be a warning that that energy is not for you. And it is in this field that Scorpios operate with mastery. He sees what others don't see, and not because he wants to, but because he was born with that code. And these codes appear in various forms. It can be through vivid dreams, with symbolic images that seem to be messages from the collective unconscious, or from higher planes. Many Scorpios dream of dark water, of snakes, of eyes, of doors opening or closing. These are images loaded with spiritual archetypes, messages that need to be deciphered with calm and inner connection. Others receive signals through the repetition of numbers, such as 1111, 2222, or 333. Moments when the veil between the worlds seems thinner and the universe whispers revelations. There are also those who have brief visions, flashes, quick intuitions that appear out of nowhere, an idea that seems to come from nowhere, a phrase that springs to mind as if it had been whispered by another voice, a thought that does not fit the context but carries a weight that cannot be ignored. These are called spiritual downloads, information coming from subtle fields that manifest for those with refined sensitivity. And Scorpio is that type of soul. He has a direct connection with denser spiritual planes and therefore needs to learn to protect his frequency. Because the more open your intuition is, the more responsibility you carry. It is no surprise that many Scorpios develop mediumistic gifts or psychic abilities throughout their lives. Some hear voices, others feel presences, others receive visions in moments of emotional vulnerability. That's not crazy. This is extreme energetic sensitivity. It is the sensitivity of someone born to be a portal, from those who carry the mission to purify, to see, to guide, even if in silence, even if in secret. And it's at this point that a lot of things start to make sense. To those who have never understood why they feel different, because he was always afraid of dark places, of crowds, of certain looks, why he always felt watched even when no one was around, because I always knew, deep down, that it was more than a sign. It was a connection to something bigger, because that's what Scorpio is. It's not an astral chart, it's a spiritual field. And when you recognize this, everything changes. You stop fighting your nature. You stop doubting what you feel. You start to align. And when this alignment happens, the signals become clearer, more constant, more organized. It's as if the universe started to trust you more, to send you more direct messages. And then, the synchronicities increase. People who disappear and reappear at strategic moments. Phrases that you hear from someone and seem like an answer to a question that only you asked. Sensations that are confirmed shortly afterwards. Everything starts to happen with rhythm and synchrony, because you started listening to what you previously ignored. Your soul. If you've come this far, it's because you've already experienced this to some degree. And even if you are still discovering yourself, there is an ancient wisdom within you that already knows everything I am saying. So now I want to ask you something simple, but very powerful. Comment below. I see what others don't see. If you've ever had strange dreams, accurate premonitions, or experiences that no one believed in, but you felt were true, and if you feel that your intuition is becoming stronger, sharper, more connected, write, "My soul guides me." Share with us a sign that you received and that no one understood, but which then made perfect sense. Each story here in the comments is a flame that lights another, and you have no idea how much your experience can activate someone's consciousness. And what comes after that is the turning point, because the signs are just beginning. But be careful. Listen to this with an open heart. There is a breaking point, a spiritual limit that, when exceeded, puts everything at risk. Scorpio is not a sign that can afford to live outside of its own essence. He wasn't designed for the surface, for the lie, for the character. When Scorpio disconnects from what makes him unique, his depth, his truth, his connection to the unseen, he doesn't just weaken himself, he begins to destroy himself from within. And this happens subtly, silently. First comes the inexplicable tiredness, the apathy, the desire to disappear, even without knowing exactly why. Then, the gifts that previously protected, sharp intuition, precise energy reading, accurate intuition, begin to fail. Everything seems confusing. The signals stop arriving. The body starts to scream. The mind spirals. Relationships fall apart. The path closes. Because the pact was broken. Yes, the spiritual pact. That silent agreement that the Scorpio soul made with superior forces before incarnating. The commitment to work with the energy of transformation, regeneration, raw and liberating truth. When this pact is betrayed, not out of malice but out of fear, out of tiredness, out of the desire to be normal, the universe responds. And this response does not come with punishment, but with a specific type of pain, the pain of emptiness. Scorpio feels this emptiness like no one else. He may even try to deceive himself for a while, pretending that everything is fine, trying to follow ordinary life, conforming to lukewarm relationships, shallow conversations, soulless routines. But there comes a time when the soul screams, and when he screams, it's not with words, it's with anguish. with insomnia, with the feeling that something is missing that we cannot name, with crises that seem to come out of nowhere, with losses that seem unfair, but they are not. They are signs. They are spiritual reminders. You are living far from who you are. Those born to transform suffer when trying to adapt. This phrase seems harsh, but it is key, because many Scorpios spend a lifetime trying to fit in, trying to be less intense, less suspicious, less deep, trying to please, not bother, not seem too weird, and in this attempt to fit into the mold that was never made for them, they disappear. They will cancel each other out, they will get lost until the day they can't take it anymore. And it is at this point that many reach rock bottom. But rock bottom for Scorpio is not an end. It's an altar. It is there that he finds what he left behind. It is there in the midst of pain, darkness, ruin, that he hears again the voice of his soul saying, "You have forgotten who you are." This reconnection does not happen from the outside in. It doesn't come from advice, from books, from motivational phrases. It comes from spiritual shock, from emotional bankruptcy, from the dark night of the soul. Because the awakened Scorpio only awakens after dying internally, after losing everything you thought you needed, to finally remember what you really needed matters. He needs to collapse the false to be reborn into the true. And when that happens, everything changes. Intuition returns. Clarity returns. The gifts are rekindled. The paths reopen. Because the pact, even if silently broken for a time, can be restored. But only when Scorpio accepts that they cannot escape their own nature. When you understand that your sensitivity is a shield, your pain is code, your depth is a portal. It takes courage to be a Scorpio. Courage not to hide. Courage to say no when everyone expects a yes. Courage to walk alone when everyone else follows together but empty. Courage to break with patterns, with people, with ideas that try to limit the power of the soul. Because Scorpio didn't come to repeat what already exists. He came to break, to rebuild, to bring about rebirths where before there was only stagnation. And if you feel like you're disconnected from your essence, if you feel like something inside you is dormant, distorted, lost, maybe that's your sign. Perhaps this message is the call your soul has been waiting for, because no one hears these words by chance. No one feels touched by this content for nothing. If you've made it this far, it's because a part of you is ready to remember. Remember that your gifts are not spiritual decorations, they are tools of war, healing tools, tools of light in a world that insists on remaining in the shadows. And you, Scorpio, carry the torch within yourself. But to hold it firmly, you need to accept the fire. You need to embrace your intensity. You need to stop hiding behind the mask that the world demands. Because every time you deny who you are, you silence the universe within you. Scorpio needs the truth, deep, on purpose. Without it, it wastes away. Even if everything seems fine on the outside, on the inside, the soul dries up. And when the soul dries up, gifts become burdens. Intuition turns into paranoia. Sensitivity turns into chronic pain. Magnetism becomes lack. Silence becomes prison. Everything is distorted because you have strayed from the axis. And the only way to get back is to dive. Diving back into the pain, the void, the abyss, but this time with awareness, clearly, knowing you're not sinking. It is returning to its center, and its center is where the pact was signed. This is where the gifts were given. It is where the mission was whispered, even before birth. Do you feel this? Do you feel like these words are not just being heard with your ears, but with your skin, with your chest, with your bones? So it's because your soul recognized it, because no matter how far away you've been, she still remembers. And now, more than ever, it is time to activate this pact again, to take on the mission you tried to deny, to use everything that happened as raw material for your transformation, because you didn't come into the world for nothing, and much less to live a shallow life. Your pain has purpose. Your darkness holds wisdom. Your crisis is the entrance to your calling. If you felt this warning ring like a bell inside your chest, comment below. I accept the fire of my soul. If you went through a period where you felt like you lost yourself, but you are ready to return, write, I am restoring my pact. And if you've ever experienced this emptiness, this disconnection, this feeling of being erased inside, share your story. Your pain was not in vain. And here, your truth is welcome. Your story could be the mirror another Scorpio needs to eye. Remember, they're not alone, and what comes now will light up what was turned off in you. If you have come this far, it is because, in some way, your soul recognized this calling. You are not hearing these words with just your ears, but with something deeper, more ancient. There is a strength in you that vibrates with each sentence, with each revelation. This strength is not new. She was not created now. It's always been there, quiet, asleep, waiting for someone to say exactly what you just heard. That Scorpio isn't just a sign, it's a channel, one frequency, a sacred spiritual field that carries truths the world doesn't want to hear, but needs. And if this message moved you, if at some point you found yourself remembering episodes, sensations, pains, or even gifts that you tried to bury, this is no coincidence. This is the energetic seal of the pact activating. When something pulses inside us with this kind of intensity, we can't ignore it. You can even try to rationalize, but the soul has already responded. And when the soul responds, there is no turning back. No wonder you were attracted to this content. No wonder it made it to this part of the video. Those who stop early may not be ready yet, but you, who are here now, are ready to accept that there is something in you that goes beyond personality, beyond behavior, beyond what they said you are. There is a subtle code to your energy that sets you apart, an envy contract. It is clear that it was sealed long before his birth, and that today it begins to reveal itself more clearly. This revelation does not come with fireworks, it does not come with a spectacle. It comes with silence, with shudder, with that lump in your throat that you can't explain, with memories that come back like flashes, with that inexplicable desire to change everything, to start again, to honor who you always were, even when no one saw it. That's the answer. This is confirmation. You carry this energy, and no matter how much the world tries to convince you that it's just exaggeration, drama, too much intensity, the truth is that you are exactly what this world needs: a transformer, a catalyst, someone who came to break patterns, transmute traumas, illuminate shadows, even if you have to do it silently, even if you have to do it alone. But now you are no longer alone. Here, in this space, in this channel, in this spiritual community, there are others like you, other Scorpios awakened, or in the process of awakening, other hearts that feel deeply, that see beyond, that carry old wounds, but that decided to transform pain into a mission. And that's why this video doesn't end here. It continues in each story told in the comments, in each testimony left as a sign, in each word you choose to write as confirmation of what you felt inside. So now it's your turn to speak out, to let your voice echo along with this energy. Comment below, "I accept my essence." If all of this resonated with your soul, if you recognized your trajectory, your pain, your mission in this flow of words, if you at some point felt like you were hearing what you needed to hear for a long time, if you, even without knowing how to explain it, felt that this video was made for you, and if you lived through a moment so intense, so transformative that you divided your life into before and after, share this with us, because you can be sure what you experienced could be the sign that another Scorpio needs to wake up. Right. The most intense moment of my life was, and tell it, no fear, no filter, with the depth that only those who carry this sign can reach. Now, if you've come this far with your heart beating faster, with your hands tingling, with the feeling that something inside you has been touched in a way that no one has ever touched before, then know, this is just the beginning. You activated something, you opened a door, and on the other side of that door is a new path, a new revelation. And it's not about Scorpio, it's about Capricorn. The next video will reveal why Capricorn guards a forbidden spiritual heritage, a secret that few dare touch, but which, like Scorpio, carries an ancestral mark, a lineage of souls who were not born for the common, that they were sent to build, yes, but on land where everything had already collapsed. And if you know someone from Capricorn, or want to understand why this sign carries so much weight on its shoulders, you need to keep going, because the spiritual journey doesn't stop here. Click now on the next video. In truth, it will make sense. It will complete something that began to awaken within you. And if possible, before leaving here, also leave in the comments, "I'm ready for the next revelation." That's not just a sentence, it's a seal. It's a calling, it's a code. And whoever feels it, understands. If you stayed until the end of this video, it's because something inside you recognized this message. And that says a lot about your soul, your journey, and your connection to everything that was revealed here. Now I want to make you a special invitation. Subscribe to the channel right now. This here is not just a channel, it is a spiritual space, a refuge for those who feel they carry something greater, a mission, an energy, a truth that the world does not understand. And if this content spoke to you, it's because you're part of it. Leave a like on this video if you felt like something woke up inside. Likes help this content reach other people who are also looking for answers, signs, confirmations. It could be the push someone needs to start their own journey of reconnection. And to seal everything that was said here, comment like this: I carry the seal of transformation. Write this in the comments if you felt that this message was made exactly for you. I will be reading and responding to each one because here we connect from soul to soul. And now, if you want to continue this journey and understand the next chapter of this spiritual path, the next video is already here on the screen on the left side. Click on it and discover why Capricorn carries a spiritual heritage that few know about. But that changes everything. I'll meet you there.